trendy, lively, artsy. These are just some of the adjectives used to define these two cool neighborhoods in the west zone of São Paulo: Vila Madalena and Pinheiros. Let's talk about them.
Hi, my name is Anna, and here on this channel we speak about everything related to food, culture, architecture, and much more in Brazil. Come with me as we explore this beautiful country together.
Vila Madalena and Pinheiros are two of the most popular neighborhoods to be considered by tourists when they want to go visit São Paulo. Today we'll be talking about the attractions over there, if it is safe, how to get around the neighborhood, and more. As these two neighborhoods are quite close to each other and have a lot of synergy, I'll be talking about them as if they were one thing, but each of them have their own kind of the limitations in the city. But it's not uncommon for you to stay like in one place that is called Pinheiros, but actually you're much closer to the attractions in Vila Madalena and vice versa. So for our first topic, things to do in Vila Madalena and Pinheiros. Without any particular order, these are some of the things that I think you would really enjoy doing in the neighborhood. The first one is Benedito Calixto Square during Saturdays. There is an antiques and handcraft fair every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. but typically around 3 or 4, many of the artists are already closing their little stalls. So you'll probably do well if you go in the morning. In that fair, not only you can find the stalls around the square, but also you have many galleries alongside the road circling the square that have small shops with up-and-coming fashion artists. You have people selling very interesting souvenirs, like for example tiles with some sort of decor or any of other craft that looks very interesting. This is a great place to visit if you're looking to get some souvenirs back home for yourself or for your loved ones. The next one in our list is Tomi Otake Institute. This institute is an art space in this building here with this unique architecture, and it's focused on Far East Asian arts. If you're interested in the Japanese heritage in Brazil and especially in São Paulo, just a couple of weeks ago I did this full video about the neighborhood in São Paulo that is considered the Japan town. So if you want to know more about that, about what you have to do in the Japan town, which is another neighborhood, please go and check that video out. It is also here in this region, in Pinheiros, that one of the most famous avenues in São Paulo are, after Paulista, which is Brigadeiro Faria Lima. Brigadeiro Faria Lima would be maybe like the Wall Street of São Paulo. Obviously, it's nothing compared to the Wall Street in New York in terms of amount of money going on and etc. But that is where many of the financial companies, financial services companies are located in Brazil. And they have some pretty swanky buildings. So if you enjoy like this modern architecture, it's just a nice place for you to go and take a look. Now, the next one is Praça do Pôr do Sol, or the Sunset Square. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to visit this one because of this. So as you can see, it was pretty rainy that day, so I was planning on going there for sunset, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. But for most days, this is one of the places that people go to watch the sunset. You know, like in Rio, people go to the Arpoador beach to watch that, as I told you about in the Ipanema video. But in São Paulo, this is just one of the spots people go to watch. It's a very different type of sunset because it's very urban. You see loads of buildings, but that's one of the places you can go as well. Both neighborhoods also have loads of trendy shops that have natural products, furniture, clothing, decor, and much more. So if you enjoy that type of like Brazilian style, both in fashion and in furnishing, probably you're gonna be very well doing some shopping here. I also saw throughout the neighborhood quite a lot of things related to healthy living and sustainability, like yoga, like meditation classes and things like that. So if this is something you enjoy, this is a perfect neighborhood for you to find some activity like that. Last but not least, we have perhaps what is the most famous attraction in both of the neighborhoods, Beco do Batman, or as you probably know it, the Batman Alley. The alley nowadays is actually a set of small streets that are completely taken by graffiti. It has this name because one of the first graffitis to show up there was a graffiti of Batman. That one has been changing as well as all the other ones, so perhaps the graffitis you're seeing here on this video will not be there anymore, so it can always be a fresh visit if you visit it more than once. It's also a great place for you to buy some street art if you want, like some tiles, some posters, or just sit in one of the bars and just have a drink while enjoying the street art around there. Speaking of bars, you have nice bars and restaurants throughout the neighborhoods. However, there are a few spots that concentrate some of them, so let me tell you about it. Of course, as I said, you have the Batman Alley, which you have quite a few of them in that kind of urban street art environment. You will have Rua Aspicuelta, which is one of the most famous streets in Vila Madalena for you to have a drink, to go out with your friends, or to just go for a meal, either lunch or dinner. And in Pinheiros, you also have Rua Ferreira de Araújo, which is where most of the bars and pizzerias and restaurants are in. Getting around the neighborhood now. So both of these neighborhoods are very hilly, so it's not very walkable around there unless you feel like going up and down hills, like some of them are pretty steep. So you can do that. I've done that a little bit throughout the neighborhood. But what I would suggest to you probably is that, as usual, you take Uber or taxis to go, for example, to the restaurants or to the bars, unless you're very close to them, especially very late at night, because after all, in Brazil, we need to be a little bit more careful. There are a few metro stations that serve both neighborhoods. You have Vila Madalena in the Green Line, you have Fradique Coutinho, you have Faria Lima, and Pinheiros. However, all of them are very far from all of these attractions that I told you, and they are more or less around the fringe of the neighborhood. So you might want to consider either getting them in or out and then getting an Uber to whatever you're staying. In terms of accommodation, there are not many hotel options in there, perhaps some more like business-oriented hotels around Brigadeiro Faria Lima. However, you will find a lot of options in terms of apartment rentals like Airbnb and Vrbo, for example. The prices will vary wildly depending on what you're looking for. You can find flats or apartments from as low as $50 up to the sky's the limit, $100, $200, $300, depends on what you need and how close you are to things and to the metro stations as well. Vila Madalena and Pinheiros have loads to offer, have many other attractions. These are just some of the highlights. You can also find loads to do and a nice place to stay around Paulista Avenue that I put right on this video, or even around Liberdade, where not many people stay in, but it's a great place to visit as well. So I will leave both of them here and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!